Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shruti Purananamalayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Om Gananantva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavin Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashranvannotibhisida sadhanam Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Atmasvarupa Bandhugana. Welcome you all to this Patrons Retreat, and I know almost all of you personally. Of course, by face I know most of you. I may not be able to connect the face with the name a few times. Mostly I know the names also. And so I welcome you once again to this Patrons Retreat. And the topic selected for this retreat is ongoing topic, but though it is ongoing, don't you get concerned about what about the material that has gone by, because there is always a recap. And also the topic is such that it is not like a mango fruit, it is like a bunch of grapes. There is a difference between the two. If it is mango fruit, you have to consume all of it in one go. Whereas if it is a bunch of grapes, anywhere you can start and eat a few grapes and then stop and again protect it well and again start it later. So like that it can go on. The idea is, the subject matter is very open and ever fresh. You can start anywhere. And you can stop anywhere and start again. That kind of a subject matter it is. And so drugdrushya vivekaha. And so we will be studying some of those verses. One page full of verses they might have put. The idea is not that we will do all of those verses, okay? Just because please don't be under that opinion. Whatever verses we do, we do. And it is not the number of verses that is important. The important thing is that we try to understand the human existence, which is called Vedanta. There are three other things called dharma, artha, kama. If we strictly examine, the dharma, artha, kama end up as means of escape from the human existence, whereas Vedanta alone is squarely facing the predicament associated with human existence. And therefore, study of human existence, the human predicament, that study, that is the Vedanta, and so that is going to be our topic. And the name may be Drugdrushya Viveka, sometimes it may be called Viveka Chudamani, sometimes it may be called Vedanta Dindi Maha. Names change, but the topic is human existence and human predicament, without trying to escape. Escapes are of two kinds. The worldly escape, that is Artha Kama. Make more money, assuming that that will redeem us. And then using the money acquire power, political power, economic power, authority, hoping that that will redeem. And then throw the money and acquire pleasures, hoping they will redeem us. When all of that fails, depend upon the faith, a belief system to redeem us, giving it the name religion. This is how people live. All of them are samsaris, including the religious-minded people. They are all samsaris. They are trying to escape from the human predicament either through artha or kama, which is worldly, both of them are worldly, or through belief, which they call dharma, dharma in a very narrow, restricted sense, not the wider meaning of dharma. So a belief is a dharma in a very narrow sense, and that becomes a route through which people try to escape from the predicament of life, and there also they fail. And it is only in Vedanta you find redemption, called moksha. So that is the topic of study of Drigdrishya Viveka. I gave you in a very brief way, and we will try to study as well or as much as we can in 2.5 days or 3 days. And taking a cue from these 3 days' effort, you should be able to revisit Vedanta, not necessarily the Swami or the place, the revisit Vedanta, that is more important. Swami or the place are secondary, okay? So it doesn't matter from which CVS you got your pill, it doesn't matter. The point is you should get the right pill to get the pain removed. Therefore you have to revisit the Vedanta, which is the wisdom about life, and thereby you should live a happy life for the rest of the time with which we are endowed by the higher power called God. So some kind of a small introduction I gave. Why introduction? Because I did not have questions before me, that's why I went into an introduction. Now I see a few questions before me. So I recommend you write the questions and put here. Even this method is also very convenient, that you must have known the email address and send it to them. They will put before me, and we will try to answer some of these questions. Okay. This you may take it, because it is the same thing. So the question begins with Om. Very nice, a nice way of addressing. Om is considered a very beautiful way of greeting. Like that it is described. You can greet others with Om. And when you want to say yes, so Anumatihi, you can say Om. So the question begins with Om, means you are all greeting me, and you allow me to speak about the question. That is how I understand the word. There is Brahman alone. Yes, that is the truth. Brahman alone is. It is like space. I am commenting upon the question as I read it, because question is too long. So if I go on reading it, you will be looking at me. Therefore, as I am reading it, I am commenting upon it. Brahman is like space. Space is one. By any stretch of imagination, space cannot be divided. But still we have the American airspace, Indian airspace, Pakistani airspace, and now the flights are not allowed. Flights from India to Europe are not allowed to enter into Pakistani airspace. They have to go around that. That means the human mind is capable of dividing even the space into pieces. Strictly speaking, you cannot, because space has no parts. Space is niravayava, no parts in it. If there are parts, we can divide. Take a few parts away, that is how you divide the whole. The whole, which is made up of parts, can be divided by taking a few, less or more, of the parts away from that. That is how it gets divided. You cannot do that to space, but human mind can even accomplish that. It is the pastime of the human mind to divide. Not only divide and oppose. Like Indian airspace, Pakistani airspace. Now your space is divided and then oppose each other. Whatever is in Indian airspace cannot go into Pakistani space and vice versa. So divide and oppose. That is what the human mind is doing all through the eons, millennia. That is what we are doing. And so when we can do that to the space, the same thing we can do to the real also. The real is one. It is space-like. That's why I gave the example of space. And the real is spaceless and timeless. And only one thing can be given as example to the real, that is space. And if I have to look for another as an example for the real, I can come out with illumination or light. Light also is not divided. Light is one. But the human mind looks at light as to divided. Take it like that, as an example only. I am not giving a lecture on the physics of light, okay? And so, where there is no division, human mind manages to get a division put in place. The real is spaceless and timeless, and therefore you cannot divide the real, because it is spaceless and timeless, and it is nameless and formless, and it is partless. It has no parts in it. It is immutable, and therefore how are you going to divide it? It is one, and you are that one. That is very big news. So you are that. How can that be? It sounds a bit odd to the beginners, but then good, if it sounds odd, and if that brings out intense curiosity in you to know that, to know how am I that, then the whole effort has become fulfilled. Provided you get that intensity of curiosity in you. Therefore, I am that. We'll come to that. Then we can say the way to understand the appearances is as follows. Can we say the way to understand the appearances is as follows? I alone exist. True. When my mind and body are imagined, I reflect in the prana that flows in it as I am. Why prana? Why not mind? You reflect in the mind. Prana, we will come to it. The Atma reflects in the mind. And the reflection is experienced as I am. This is the very first topic that we will discuss in tomorrow morning class, the 11th verse. But still, I am reading it, so don't say reflect in prana, say reflect in the mind, okay? You see, the sun doesn't reflect in the flow of air. The sun reflects in water, something like that. Then, due to the veil of ignorance, I mistake myself to be the body-mind in space and time, correct. So, we assume ourselves to be body-mind. Body is space and mind is time. That is also well said. And project further imaginations based on desires and fears. You are right. To remind myself that I alone am, I need to withdraw the senses and the mind and observe and witness, correct. Is this correct understanding? Yes, very much so. Thank you. That is what the question. Yes, the understanding is correct. Something more has to be added. Like suppose you withdraw the senses, then it is time for lunch or dinner, then you have to allow the senses to move forward. You cannot withdraw the senses 24/7, right? Because you have to eat food, you know. And then you cannot close the eyes 24/7. You have to open the eyes and see around. Therefore, withdrawal of senses from the sense objects is an important aspect of Vedantic pursuit, but not like Hatha Yoga. It doesn't go to the extreme extent, in which case it is called Hatha Yoga. In Hatha Yoga, there is a sadhana pursuit called Pratyahara. In pratyahara, you close the eyes and not to open. You stop listening, not to listen anymore. You stop tasting, not to taste anymore. That is how the five sense organs are totally withdrawn. And they are kept under severe check, under powerful control. They are kept under powerful control. That is not Vedanta. Vedanta is you do withdraw the sense organs. If you allow them entirely free run, they will take you into the ditch of samsara and you are lost. So you should not allow them total free run like the samsaris do, the worldly people do. And also we should not totally control and put them under very tight control like the Hatha Yoga people do. So neither this extreme nor that extreme. Both extremes are not good. Madhya Marga is the best. This is Buddha's principle. The middle path is the golden path. That is Buddha, Bhagavan Buddha. So we follow the middle path. We allow the sense organs to go into the world, which means to pursue the sense objects in a very moderate way. That is the middle path. So that much if I add to that long paragraph, now it sits properly. Okay? So let us say that question is answered. Next question. Can it be said that love and oneness is an aspect of Sat, whereas the perception of apparent division is an aspect of Chit due to apparent movement in Chit, though the Sat and Chit are not separate, but one indivisible reality? You see, the way to put it is, Sat is one, but appears as many existences. Chit is one, but appears as many cognitions. And Ananda is one, but appears as all kinds of love, small and big, happiness, small and big, modaha, pramodaha, love, priyaha, supriyaha, etc. All such variations of happiness and love, they are all the manifestations of Ananda. Okay? What is Sat is Chit, and the Chit alone is Ananda. That is the real, that is the Brahma, which is the Atma. Atma is, and it is, and it shines. Like the lamp is, and also it shines. Similarly, Atma is, and it knows. Shining means inner shining is not like a bulb shining. Knowing is the inner shining. So Atma is, and Atma shines. And Atma is love. Ananda is love. In one context it is love. In another context it is happiness. They are interconnected, you know, love and happiness. Why do you love? Because you feel happy when you love. And when you are happy, you love also. And also Ananda means perfection. Therefore, what is Sat is Chit, and it is also perfection. It is love, and it is bliss. Therefore, it is the real is it is said in three words, but words are three, but the real is one. That is the way you have to understand. Now, the apparent division, all that I have explained. The one Chit appears as many cognitions. Just like the one light of the projector appears as many scenes on the screen, like that. We will continue with this description also in tomorrow's class. Okay? Tomorrow onwards we will describe it. What is a singularity? These questions are coming from earlier classes, I suppose. Singularity is a physics word. I will check for the definition of the singularity. Immediately I am not giving you the definition because it is physics and I don't want to give incomplete or faulty description or definition, I will check and tell you. And generally, a thing which is very unique and it is unlike anything else, it is all by itself, unlike anything else, such a thing is called singularity, but I will come with a perfect definition later. Then, what is the difference between Vishishtadvaita and Advaita? That is the question someone has written. You see, I tell you, the difference I will tell you, the one and only one, the one without the second. Ekam eva advitiyam. The one and the only one and the one without the second. That is Advaita. Okay? The one, it is the one, but still associated with many. Associated with many. Now, how can you call it Advaita? When it is associated with many, then it is not Advaita. No, we are calling it one, you know. We are calling it one. Therefore it is Advaita, but associated with many. Therefore in that sense it is Dvaita, like the head of the family. Head of the family, one or many? One. But the head of the family means family is not one, you know. He is not all by himself, he is not the family. So, except in some imagination. Therefore, when you say head of the family, he is one associated with wife, children and other members of the family. So now this associated with, that is the Vishishta, associated with many, still you call it one. Okay? You may be calling it one, but you know very well. You know, you tell me, I am asking you, you ask me, I am asking you. I show a person and tell you he is the head of the family. Now it is one or many? It is many. Though you are calling it one, it is many. Without many, how can he be the head of the family? Okay, so you are calling him one, but it is obviously many. The Vishishtadvaita is like that. They call it one, but it is many. Why should they call it one? Why not call it many only? Why this a kind of a contradiction or dichotomy? So, like there is a proverb in English, like hunting with the hound and running with the hare. Did you hear something like that? Now, is it hunting or is it running? It is this as well as that. Hunting with the hound and running with the hare. Did I get it right? Yeah. So, like that you decide one thing, is it Advaita or Dvaita? You decide that way. One time you say Advaita and another time you say Dvaita. Why this contradiction? This contradiction is no good. Be firm. That is called Dvaita. That is how Dvaitacharya attacks Vishishtadvaita. Of course attacks Advaita also, because he is a Dvaitacharya and he doesn't like Advaita, and he has a serious objection about Vishishtadvaita also. Because in Vishishtadvaita, you are neither here nor there, sometimes there, sometimes here. So, it is like one person, he comes with an elaborate makeup and camouflage, and so he has a kind of a veil, a very silken veil. He does it like that, and he appears like a young, beautiful young man. And then he does it this way, now he appears like a very beautiful young lady. So that way, why should you do this way, that way? Why not stay with one? This is the objection not from Advaita side. It is the objection raised by the Dvaita people. Therefore, you see, when there is Advaita, then somebody will be there with the opposite Dvaita, and in between somebody will try to fit in between. as Visishtadvaita. That is how the three philosophies are. Really speaking, if you examine closely, I'm not trying to censor anything. I'm just making an observation only for you to think. Dvaita and Visishtadvaita, they are more religious than philosophical. Okay? But unfortunately, the Advaita people, they go and embrace a lot of dualistic religion. They don't stay true to their vision. Because somehow, either they are not sure with their vision of oneness, or they want some of the glory of the religion comes with a lot of glory. A religion person is followed by thousands of followers, and the religion comes with lots of enjoyable things. For example, if you are part of a religion, you will get very good food in the name of religion. If you are part of a group of philosophers, you have to beg for a cup of tea. You have to search for a cup of tea. But if you are part of the religion, you will have, it depends, you can have at least half a dozen variety of very nice food available to you. All in the name of religion. So which one you prefer? When it is bhiksha time, I prefer religion, let me tell you. So the Advaita people, they don't seem to be true to their vision, at least true to the vision that they claim to be espousing. They dilute it, sometimes they even lose it and go into the flow of dualistic religious practices. Therefore now, pure Advaita, clean Advaita, you have to search for it. You don't find it often. You have to search for it. And therefore, Advaita is Advaita, Visishtadvaita is Advaita, Dvaita is Advaita. Now, what to do now? If you make a clear-cut distinction, there are people like that who stay with Advaita and they don't dabble with the dualistic religious practices. They don't go into it. If they have to lose popularity, they are ready for it. If they have to lose dakshinas and money, they are ready for it. If they have to lose a variety of privileges and pleasures, they are willing to lose all of that. They stay with their Advaita vision. Such people are there, but you don't see them much. That's why you come out with this kind of a question. I'm not censoring the question or criticizing the question. This kind of a doubt can be there in the minds of people. But the point is, Advaita is philosophy. Visishtadvaita and Advaita, they present themselves as philosophies in competition with Advaita. We are also philosophy, not only Advaita, like that. They may present like that, but really speaking, they are not philosophies, they are theologies. The distinction, I hope I am making my point clear. I see it clearly, I see clear like daylight. But the general public may not be able to see clearly because the Advaita is wrongly and unnecessarily and unfortunately mixed up with a lot of dualistic religious practices. Therefore, now you cannot distinguish between one and the other. So, these are some of the comments about that question. You see, if somebody's mother passes away, how should one should overcome that thing which is likely to affect the person deeply? That is the question. The answer is, if the mother passes away, I don't see any reason to be deeply affected by it. Mother means she must be elderly. Suppose you ask about my mother. I myself am old. What to speak of my mother? And I am happy that my mother is not around anymore. Suppose, just imagine if my mother were to be around, how would she have been? She would have been 99% senile. That is not a happy thing. And I am glad that she passed away at the time she passed away. And what is passing away? By the way, what does it mean? Suppose a bulb, there are 5 bulbs here. One of them fuses. What happened to that bulb? Nothing happened. The bulb is before you. The filament, it is also before you. Suppose the weight of the filament is, say, 0.1 gram. Even after the fusing of the bulb, you will have your 0.1 gram filament, tungsten or whatever there. You can recycle it if you wish. Then what happened to the electricity? Electricity, nothing happens. Whatever electricity was there in the bulb earlier, before it fused, it is now earlier, now and always part and parcel of the grid, the whole grid, always it is. Therefore, what happened to the bulb? Nothing happened. The bulb is not lost, the filament is not lost, the electricity is not lost. Then what is lost? Nothing is lost. Therefore, this passing away, the death, etc., it comes with a lot of hype. The hype is created by the worldly people. Because when a person is there, you can exploit the person in the name of relationship, bandhutvam and all that. You can use the person for your personal gratification. And then you can gain advantage of the person if the person owns some wealth and all that. We do all of that. Every one of us does that. And then we are psychologically attached to the person. And in every case of psychological attachment, which is how the world functions, it is not any altruism. There is no altruism in it. There is only one's own personal gratification in the name of psychological attachment. I feel comfortable in the presence of the person. And now in the absence of the person, I lost that comfort. That is the idea. And therefore, the worldly people create a lot of hype around a person's passing away. And that hype, some of it is gratification, personal gratification, and some of it is economical benefits. And then the religion enters. And it puts a variety of beliefs and superstitions around death. Now it becomes a very heady mix. Religion, economic benefits, and psychological gratification, all are involved in it. It is not a very happy thing, and people have to examine it, and people have to come out of this heady mix. They should become intelligent, not carried away by sentimentality and emotionalism. There is no truth in sentimentality and emotionalism. There is no death. The thing called death is a misnomer. Nothing dies. There is nothing which dies really. Everything is conserved. You must have studied some physics. Matter is conserved. Energy is conserved. Consciousness is conserved. So what is death? There is no death. In Vedanta, we do not realize anything called death. But what happened, the Advaita vision was corrupted. Corrupted by economic considerations and worldly pleasure considerations, and then corrupted further by mixing up with a lot of dualistic religiosity. Therefore, death has become a big issue even among the Advaita circles. It is a sad commentary on the failure of understanding of the vision of Advaita. Therefore, there is nothing like death. You should not worry about it. These are questions asked earlier by earlier people who attended earlier lectures. And now I am answering them now and you are listening to them. Who created this kind of a situation? You people created it. Who asked you, who stopped you from asking questions of your own? You don't have any questions worth asking. So if you don't have, then let me get some questions here and answer them and you sit with that for some more time. You asked for it, okay? One more question like that. This is Devata, touch ID. I touched it. Oh, this is I got it. Yeah, I got it. Even now you can write a question if you wish.
Or they can ask, we can hand over.
That also can be done. Only thing is, when they ask a question, be alert and listen to it, and if I don't get it right, you tell me. Yeah, please do that also. How can I be confident that I am Brahman? I badly want to have this anchor. It's a good question. You see, it is not about knowing that I am Brahman. That is not the point. Negative understanding is the highest understanding. It is enough to know what you are not. That's all. What you already are. Right? It should not be understood that I will know and then I will become Brahman. You are not going to become Brahman because you are already Brahman. And therefore, it is not about what you are. It is about what you are not. Okay? Therefore, you study Nirvana Shatkam, some such Dashashloki or Nirvana Shatkam, Mano Buddhya Hankara Chittani Naham, like the body-mind. Okay? You look at yourself. Do you take yourself to be the body-mind? Then you should know that you are not the body-mind. Then what am I? That is not the point. The point is, you are not the body-mind. Then what happens to me if I know that I am not the body-mind? Nothing will happen. You are what you are, and you remain everlastingly and timelessly what you are. Anyway, to make a long story short, you have to know that you have to know what all you are not. You see, I complain like this, you give me a chance, therefore I am complaining. Even in the Advaita, they try to bring some positivity. So this is a fashion, to talk in terms of positivity. It is a fashion. So what is the fashion? If they are celebrating a party, you join. That is positivity. That is not positivity. You should dismiss it. You should not join. But joining is positivity. If somebody is no more, they are all sitting and crying, you also go sit there by their side, in some corner you sit and pretend as if you are crying. So this is the positivity. What is positivity in it? So once there was somebody died, and all these relatives, they sit and they form a gang of crying people. A battalion, not gang, a battalion of crying people. They are all crying. And one Mahatma was walking on the road. And he is looked at somebody dead, they are crying. That is how the samsaris are. What else, what better you can expect of them? And so he's going his way. Suddenly he noticed that another Mahatma is also in that group, whom he knew. And he is also crying. He was stunned. Hey, what happened to this guy? They are crying, I can understand. But what happened to this guy? He looked at him and just stopped going his way and looked at him like that, just waiting for him to look his side. He was crying and suddenly he opened his eyes and this man was there. He said like that. He came out and he asked him, why are you crying? He said, I am not crying. Then what I have seen you sitting along with them and look with a sad face, jaw dropped and all that. You appear like that, yeah, I am doing that. Why? Because if I don't do that, then I have to console all these people. Who will do that? No, who will console these people? They will have to console themselves. That's why, to avoid this consoling nonsense, I also joined the bandwagon of crying. That is what he said. Therefore, why I said this? For some reason I said this. Therefore, you become part and the Advaita people have become like that. That is what I said. At least Advaita people should retain their clarity of vision. They should not go into the worldliness in the name of positivity. What is positive? What you call positive is with reference to the world only you are saying positive. That is not Advaita. In Advaita, we do not support the world. We do not validate it. We dismiss it. What we call Jagan Nirakaranam. Suppose I say that, oh, that Swami is very negative Swami. Good, I am negative. I am happy about it. Because that is Advaita. I is what? In Advaita, I is what? Negative only. Therefore, I am blessed that I am negative. Negative understanding is highest understanding. Therefore, the point is, it is not that you have to know that you are Brahman. Suppose you say, I know that I am Brahman, suppose. Do you know what is Brahman? You don't know. Then that means, I am that which I do not know. How is that? Therefore, don't fall into that trap. There is nothing like knowing yourself as Brahman. There is no such thing. You think Brahman is a positive word, you are wrong. Brahman means spaceless. That is the meaning of Brahman. Okay? You cannot know spaceless. Pay attention. I have a lot of respect, regard, and enormous love for all of you. You are all the patrons. You give bhiksha to us. So that's why I'm trying to share with you. You know space. You know space, right? Or you don't know space also? You know space, good. But you don't know spaceless. You don't know spaceless. Then why do you use the word spaceless? What we do in Advaita, we take the word which with a known meaning, take the word with a meaning that is known to you, and then drain the meaning out of that word. All meaning is gone out of that word. That is the word spaceless. So take space, and the space has some meaning, which you know, and take away that meaning. Now you have created a word by taking the word and draining it out of its meaning. And that means you have created a meaningless word. Out of a word with a meaning, you create a meaningless word. And that is the description of Brahman. Brahman cannot be described in meaningful words. Because if meaningful words come from the memory, which is known, which is knowledge, which is conditioning of the mind, that is not Brahman. Therefore, you take the word from the known like space, and take out the meaning from it, arrive at spaceless, that is Brahman. Unknown and unknowable, that you are. You got this mechanism? Therefore, this is how Brahman has to be described, with negative, meaningless words only. And Brahman itself is one such word, spaceless, the spaceless. The spaceless, you make it into a noun. Spaceless is adjective, but make it noun. The spaceless, that is Brahman. You are that Brahman. Means you are the unknown and unknowable. You are the spaceless because you are not the body. You are the timeless because you are not the mind. You are the birthless, deathless, and you are not something that can be known. You are the unknown and unknowable. That is what you are. So in this, you do not really know what you are. You only know what you are not. That is very real and very practical also. Based on my description, don't assume that it is some philosophical. It is philosophy, but it is very simple and very practical. You be the love of the husband. That is Atma, the love of the husband. Don't be a husband. What is husband? Dominate and possess. That is the husband. Don't be that. Be the love of the husband. Be the love of the father, not the father. You need not tell the young man, I am not your father, etc. You simply say, you let the father, the son, let it continue. Father, mother, son, let it will continue. But in you, within you, you know, there is no father, na me mata, na me pita. So, you know that this fatherhood, motherhood, these are all social conditioning. There is no reality. Atma is neither father nor son, neither mother nor son. You all know that. Then what is Atma? Love. You show love to the young man. That is enough. Be the love of the husband. Why do you want to be husband? You want to be the husband without having the love of the husband, at least fully. Some love you may have, which is not even love, it is attachment. So, therefore, when you avoid all definitions, every single self-definition is misleading, including Guru Shishya. Naiva Guruhu na Shishyaha. Naiva Guru na Shishyaha. I am Guru because I am sitting on a higher platform? No. I am sitting on a higher platform so that I can be seen and heard by every one of you. That is the only reason. If I sit in the first row and speak, then you will not be able to enjoy it. That's why I am sitting here. Otherwise, I am with Shankara. Naiva Guru na Shishyaha. In Dvaita, there will be Guru and Shishya. You know that? And in Dvaita, Guru is Guru only, Shishya is Shishya only. And Guru is the middleman between Shishya and God. Unless Guru recommends, the Shishya will not be blessed by the God. That is the Dvaita. All of it is imported into Advaita. Therefore, now you cannot make a distinction between the two. This is the problem. And therefore, in Advaita, Naiva Guru na Shishyaha. No self-definition. This is how you have to understand that you are Brahman. All negative descriptions means any description that can come from the memory or mind is dismissed. And what remains is Brahma. Interestingly, Brahma is called Sheshaha. Sheshaha, you know Sheshaha? What remains? The remainder is Sheshaha. But the religious people or the religious stories have hijacked that word. Hijacked or hijacked that word and converted into a serpent. Now our friends are happy with, they want serpent. That is all they want. Put a serpent. Like that. Put a Shivalinga, put a serpent. Put a Ganapati, put a serpent. Why serpent? You put a serpent on your head. I mean, not a, why serpent? The whole vision is taken somewhere away. Taken so far away that you cannot recognize anything. You see, British people, when they were ruling India, you know what they have done? They gave an announcement, wall posters, etc. 1,000 working people are required in 20s, 30s. They have to work hard. They will be taken to Britain by ship and they will be paid good. We will give some money now itself, you can give to the family and come and join the ship. Like that they put a poster. Many people from Bihar and UP, etc., they are migrating people. All societies are not of migrating nature. For example, Andhra, Telangana, they stay where they are. Nowadays they are migrating a little, but Kerala, Bihar, etc., they are migrating societies. So they presented themselves, strong-bodied people, healthy people. Everybody was given 1,000 rupees or 500 rupees in those days. That is given to the family and you go and sit in the ship. The ship will go to Britain and there you will work and then we will bring you back. All of that was falsehood. The ship went to Guyana, South America, which was under the rule of British. British were ruling everywhere. They are everywhere. Sun will never set on the British Empire, you know that. So Guyana was under the Guyana, British Guyana, French Guyana. British Guyana is called British Guyana. Georgetown is the capital. You all know that. And these people landed in Guyana. That is not Britain. Then in Guyana, in those, even now, the sugarcane is the primary crop. And to cut the sugarcane, to manufacture sugar out of it, it is all manual job. And these people were put in that job. They will never return to India. They remained there. They forgot India. They took some religion along with them. Bhagavatam and Ramayanam, something like that. Among them a few. They became priests. And they have created a new Hinduism in Guyana out of scratch. They are totally divorced or disassociated from the mainland Bharat. You got the example? This is the example that happened to Advaita people. The Advaita people have migrated elsewhere. Now you cannot recognize them as Advaita people anymore. You don't see any Advaita in them. And they teach one book. Based on that, you have to assume that they are Advaita. He is teaching Viveka Chudamani. Therefore, he must be an Advaiti. He closes the book, no more Advaita. Everything else is Dvaita. Aisa ho gaya. Did I give a meaningful illustration? Aisa ho gaya. Therefore, why I said, so the Guru is the middleman between Shishya and God. And unless the Guru sanctions, Shishya cannot get the blessings of the God. This is Advaita, said in so many words. In so many words, if you can check, without the recommendation of Vayudeva, Vishnu will not give moksha to any devotee. Recommendation. Sifarish, you know sifarish? Aisa hai, aisa ho gaya. It was a digression. You asked a question, therefore I said, therefore it is not about you knowing yourself as Brahman. Already in the satsang itself, I have put a lot of Advaita before you. You made me do that. I have to teach another 2 days or 3 days. God knows what I am going to teach. But now itself, a lot of things that are in my chest have come out. Therefore, It is not, the question is, how do I know Brahman? You will not know that you are Brahman. Brahman is not some big boulder-like thing that you will know it. You will know only what all you are not. Every perceivable and conceivable thing you are not. And after dismissing all that is perceived and all that is conceived, body, mind, what remains is you, and that is Brahman. And so negative understanding is the highest understanding. You remind yourself all the time, I am not this, I am not that. I am what I am. Simply, I am. That is how you realize your true nature as Brahman. That question is now answered. Is there a specific reason? I will answer this question and then leave you alone. Is there a specific reason that Shankara chose 10 Upanishads? You see, the Hindu literature, like any other religious literature. For example, you take Christian literature. To begin with, there was one book called Bible. Maybe there are 4 kinds of renderings are there, but one book called Bible. But now, an entire library is full of theology based on Bible. So many thousands and millions of books have come. That is how the literature expands. This is all the more so in the case of Hindu Dharma. So for example, Mahabharata, which started with 25,000 verses, has today 110,000 verses. Where is 25 and where is 110? It has expanded, expanded, expanded. Everybody writes something and puts into Mahabharata. Like Indian Constitution has already 120 odd amendments. Take any constitution, not necessarily Indian. Suppose you make 10,000 amendments, then which is original you will not be able to find. The literature is like that. Same thing happened to Ramayana. What is original Ramayana? Very difficult to find. And if somebody finds it, they won't even believe it. They want their stories, their miracles and mysteries. They don't want the truth. If I start telling about Ramayana, you will be stunned. And I will attract a lot of negativity, the so-called. Therefore, I am not opening my mouth about Ramayana. So the literature goes on expanding. They came out with a book, 108 Upanishads. Why 108? Why not 105 or 111? Somehow 108 is supposed to be a sacred number. That's why 108 Upanishads. Then somebody came up with 1008 Upanishads. They are all imagined, added later, not authentic, no sense in all that. At the time of Shankara, there were 14 or 15 Upanishads. That's it. Out of which 10 he has chosen to comment. And the other 4, how do you say? Because he quoted from them. In Brahma Sutras, he quoted from Shvetashvatara Upanishad. He did not comment upon that. He quoted from Jabal Upanishad. He did not comment upon that. Like that, another 3 or 4 he quoted. So include them, 10 he commented. So these are the Upanishads. That's it. Anything more than that is added later, and therefore need not be, it is not original, need not conform to Advaita. Many Advaita Upanishads are there. You will be surprised to know there is Allo Upanishad. Allah Upanishad, Sandhi, Guna Sandhi. Allah Upanishad means Sandhi you have to do, Allo Upanishad. Even that is also there. And therefore, the literature has went like that. And what Shankara wrote commentaries, they are standard. You apply your mind to those 10, that is enough. One lifetime is enough to study the 10 Upanishads. So I wonder if he saw that together they present the full vision without confusion, of course, while each also contributes its own unique insight, correct. Why 10? Why not 2 or 3? Because each Upanishad has a unique contribution, unique insight, and it becomes complete in a way. You can say even one Upanishad is also complete. And having said that, Bhagavad Gita has the essence of all the 10 Upanishads. So with that, I will conclude. We will see tomorrow morning. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate